Hey everybody, I'm trying to bring you all some information, most days at least, about the CARES Act and the relief that it's offering during the coronavirus crisis that's going on. As we know, a lot of people aren't able to work. Finances are becoming pretty scary. I've talked about a couple of things with the Small Business Administration for small businesses. Today, I want to talk to you with student loans. One of the provisions with the CARES Act provides for student loans to be suspended, the payments to be suspended. Now, the problem with this is that it only applies to loans held by the Kentucky Department of Education. So it doesn't apply to private student loans. It does not apply to federal family education loans, and it does not apply to Perkins loans. So you really need to check and make sure you know what kind of loans that you're dealing with. Now, the really nice thing about this, there is no interest that will accrue until September 30th of 2020. The payments will be suspended. Now, that doesn't mean that they won't go away. You'll still have to make those payments eventually. Basically, the principal is not going to be changing. You won't be reducing any of the principal on your student loans, but it's not going to be increasing with penalties and interest either. They will not count these missed payments or suspended payments against you if you're in the process of applying for loan forgiveness. Sometimes those loan forgiveness only come about, they're only offered, you can only qualify for them if you are perfect with your payments on time and so forth. So that's good. It's not going to hurt you in that way. The other thing is it's not going to be reported to your credit reporting agencies as missed payments. So all that's going to be great. Now, what you've got to realize, and also any collection activity that's going on, if they're already trying to collect on loans, that's not going to happen between now and September 30th, 2020. Again, this is just for loans, student loans held by the Department of Education. So when it comes October 1st, 2020, you're going to have to get back to paying. You should receive a bunch of notices that the loans are going to kick back in, that you're going to have to start making payments again. The CARES Act actually requires 6 notices to be mailed out to you. So expect to get a bunch of notices. Pay attention to them. Don't throw them away. Read them. Make sure you know it's coming. You don't want to, on October 1st, when the loans and the payments kick back in, you don't want to be surprised. For those of you that are in a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, what does this mean regarding your Chapter 13 plan? The trustee, Beverly Burden, is our Chapter 13 trustee in the Eastern District of Kentucky, and I've always found her to be incredibly fair, very reasonable in her approach. I don't expect that the suspended student loans are going to really impact your Chapter 13 plans. The way they could impact them is if you're supposed to be making them outside of the plan, which means they cut into your monthly budget. What that means is that you are supposed to have less disposable income because of your student loans, so your plan payments are lower. Well, if you're not making student loan payments, the question becomes, are you then going to have to add that into your plan payments? I don't know the answer. I can't guarantee the answer. Most likely not. The other thing you should know in terms of the CARES Act and Chapter 13, Chapter 7, is that these relief checks that you're going to be getting as far as Chapter 13 plan payments, you're not going to have to pay those into your Chapter 13 plans. In terms of Chapter 7, they aren't going to count against you in terms of your means test. There's an open question as whether or not the trustees can administer that money as part of the estate. There's no guidance on that in the law itself. However, the U.S. Trustee Department has issued their own guidance and basically really discouraged trustees from doing anything to touch or seize or administer the relief checks. What I expect then is that you're going to be able to keep those relief checks. You would be able to anyways if you can exempt them. This is really more a matter of for those who are running up against a lot of your exemptions and you don't have any to spare. So I think you're going to be fine with that. Tomorrow I want to give you some information about mortgages, just as a precursor to talking to you tomorrow. There are forbearances being offered regarding certain mortgages. Some mortgages are doing it voluntarily. There's some things to really be careful about with that, and I'll talk about that more tomorrow. For federally backed mortgages, there's some good relief being offered, and even with that relief, you still are going to need to be careful about them. So I want to bring that information to you tomorrow. That's going to take a little bit longer, but for you homeowners, I want to give you the good and the bad, and we'll spell that out tomorrow. You all take care. Be safe. Bye.